Welcome back to the Immigration Department of Antigua and Barbuda. In our previous program, we talked briefly about the types of citizenship that are available in the country and the eligibility. And today we're going to talk a little bit more detail. I'm joined by Miss Ned and Miss Isaac, who are experts in the Department of Citizenship. Miss Ned, we talked about this a little bit before. So remind us, what are the eligibility you need for citizenship?
For citizenship. Now, there are about 4 categories we can look at as it pertains to persons being eligible for citizenship. We have persons who are married to an Antigua and Barbuda for more than 3 years or more. Then there are persons applying on the grounds of residency, meaning they would have been residing in the state of Antigua and Barbuda for 7 years or more, and they would apply on the grounds of registration. Then there are persons who would have been residing in the state for more than 8 years. They would apply for citizenship on the grounds of naturalization. And then, of course, we have minors, yes, who are children under the age of 18. Now, with those children in particular, they don't really come through the Department of Immigration. Once they're minors, they don't really come through us. They apply for citizenship at the passport office. So we only focus our attention on 3 areas: marriage, married by registration, or naturalization.
Right. And we're going to look today, we're going to focus particularly on the citizenship for those who've been here for 7 or 8 years. Miss Isaac, could you give us a quick rundown of the process? So I'm going to apply for citizenship. What is my first move?
The first move is of course, you'd have to come into the department. We verify that you would have been here for the 7 years or more. We would explain to you in detail all the necessary documentation that you would require in order to come in to see us for an appointment. We do give you time in which to gather those documents.
So you give me this list and I go off and gather all the documents from various corners of the world. And then what happens?
Then once you have all those, you come into the department. We will review your documentation and we would have an interview with you. It covers your time being in Antigua for the duration, and just a little information about your previous residence outside of Antigua.
Miss Ned, how long does this process take from the day I come in and talk to you to actually gathering everything and saying, right, okay, now you can have citizenship?
Now, the Department of Immigration aims for a turnaround maximum 6 months. Now, just to piggyback from my colleague right here, we first do what we call an eligibility check.
Right.
That's done first. Now, that's not taken into account when you do actually come back for the appointment. So we carry out an eligibility check first. Once we deem you eligible, we then contact you, the applicant. We then book an appointment and time for you to come in. We issue to you the document checklist. Of course, you leave us, you go and put those documents together. When you do come back to us now, we'll be sitting you down, as my colleague would have indicated, and we go through the documents, we do an interview with you. We're hoping for a turnaround time of at least 6 months to get you in with us, out, get the process completed, information sent to the passport office.
And how much does all this process cost?
It only costs you $200 EC dollars.
At this stage?
At this stage.
So you've said to us, right, you're good eggs, you can have citizenship, and now we go to the passport office?
Yes. Once the Department of Immigration completes what we call the pre-processing for citizenship, we send a report to the passport office. We then contact you, the applicant, and we advise you. You now need to proceed to passport office where you would now apply for citizenship.
Right. Now, if I just recap that, because that is, I think, what people don't understand. So the process with you, gathering the papers, presumably filling in a form, is the pre-application process.
Yes, it is.
And that takes 6 months.
Yes.
So then you go to the passport office.
Yes.
And what does the passport office do?
Now, once you present yourself to the passport office, most likely you'd have to present your passport. They will check your documentation, passport, and of course they will then issue to you the citizenship forms. Once they issue you the forms, then you will have to now complete the process with the passport office.
So we don't have to go over the whole thing all over again?
No, because what we are now, the Department of Immigration is now trying to do to make the, what should we say, the process a little simpler for the clients. Some of the documentation that they would have provided for us here at Immigration, we will now be assisting and sending these information off to the passport office. So when you do present yourself, some of these documentation would have already been at the passport office. You would just need to provide the originals because we would have sent the copies ahead already.
Right. And how long does the passport office usually take?
No, to be honest, that's a matter. That's a matter that the Department of Immigration, unfortunately, we don't really have a say as to when a person becomes a citizen.
Right. When you've completed the pre-citizen process with you, do you need, therefore, to renew your residence permit, or are you then in the process?
Now, it is encouraged for all persons that once the pre-processing is completed here with us and we send off the report, it is encouraged every person continues to maintain his or her immigration status. So it's imperative.
Right, so that doesn't give you status in itself?
No, because technically you're not a citizen just yet. So you still have to come and see us here at the Department of Immigration and update your immigration status until you become a citizen.
Right. And I have residence permit. So for me to apply for citizenship, I would recommend with you that we just update your residence permit.
Yes, yes, okay. You can.
Have you any idea what the passport office charges for this process?
I do know that a processing fee is also involved for them. And differently, once the citizenship has been approved, there is a fee now attached to it. I really cannot go into full detail as to exactly the cost involved because, no, of course, I would not want to say the wrong thing.
No, I understand. And Miss Isaac, you get involved in this process?
The citizenship and the residency. Yes. Yeah. Some individuals are of the view, because they have been coming back and forth to Antigua for a period of 4 to 5 years, that it makes them eligible immediately for residency. It doesn't work like that, because you come and you go without coming to the Department of Immigration seeking time, as in status within the country. It does not make you eligible. You would have to be coming into the department, getting your time regularized for that 4-year period in order to be eligible for residency.
Now, this is a very important issue that we've spoken about before, that this is not, it's not a right to have citizenship. Just because, as Miss Isaac said, you've been coming here for years, if you haven't been legitimizing your status, then you're not eligible. If you've been coming and going, getting tourist stamps, it doesn't count. And this is a point you really must remember. It's a very important point. So if you're in any doubt, what do they do, Miss Ned?
So they will definitely need to come in and see us here at the Citizenship and Residency Unit. I can tell you this much. We have had a lot of persons, like you said, Zoe, who have been here for more than 20 years and is of the view that they are eligible to become citizens of the state. When in fact, and when we do actually carry out the necessary checks, based on what we're seeing, they are not. It's quite unfortunate because many of these folks are of the view the bona fide entry stamp, visa stamp, qualifies them for citizenship, and that is not the case. You would definitely have to come and see us at the Department of Headquarters, come away or change your status from the bona fide visitor stamp, and now become residents of the state.
That is an important point that you must take away with you. And thank you for joining us on this one. We've touched on the process. And in our next program, we'll talk about what are the things you actually need to gather together when you go off to get your citizenship. Thank you, Miss Isaac. Thank you, Miss Ned.
Thank you.